All right, there we go. We are now being recorded, John.
Very good. All right. At 8:33, I'll call to order this meeting of the City School Liaison Committee. Do we have any members? Oh, let's see. Yeah. Well, we don't show introductions on the agenda, but I think it'd be a good thing to do for those present. So I'll start. John Horner, Board President, Morgan Hill Unified School District. And then I guess I'll call people out since we're on Zoom. Ms. Sullivan.
Good morning, everyone. Wendy Sullivan, trustee.
Thank you. Mr. McKay.
Good morning, John McKay, City Council Member, District D.
Wonderful. Mr. Constantine.
Good morning, everyone. Rich Constantine, Mayor of Morgan Hill.
And Ms. Turner.
Good morning, everyone. Christina Turner, City Manager, Morgan Hills.
And Dr. Garcia.
Good morning, buenos dias, Carmen Garcia, Superintendent.
And then we have Ms. Schrieffer.
Good morning, Kelly Schrieffer, Executive Secretary to the Superintendent.
And rounding us off, Ms. Mansara.
Good morning, Kim Mansara, Deputy City Clerk with the City of Morgan Hill.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Do we have any members of the public wishing to make public comment?
I am seeing no members of the public present.
Okay, well, in that case, we will close public comment and we'll move on to agenda item 1, the minutes from our June 16th meeting. Are there any comments or corrections? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Very good. No other discussion, then, oh, we have to call the roll. We're on Zoom. Ms. Mansara.
President Horner,
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan,
Aye.
Mayor Constantine,
Aye.
Councilmember McKay.
Aye.
Very good. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Move on to item 2, the determined conduction of in-person meetings would present a public health risk. Do we have any discussion on that topic?
I have a question.
Please.
I was just curious, and I certainly don't want to jinx things by even asking this question, but with kind of the trend that we're seeing with the decline of COVID and with the announcement from the World Health Organization yesterday, and I was just curious how much longer we anticipate kind of staying in this mode, or if we see getting any closer to transitioning to in-person meetings again, at least for this set of meetings.
And may I jump in?
Please.
Yes.
Okay, so our council decided a while back that we would follow suit with what the county is doing. And most recently, the county did change its health orders, and that involved no longer requiring masks other than in high-risk settings such as hospitals and I think medical facilities. And so I've been in contact with the county about, okay, so what does this mean? And I had heard that their most recent thinking was that as soon as the mask mandate was lifted, that would be sort of the sign that they would soon go back to in-person meetings, because they didn't want to have a requirement for the mask and then have public meetings. So they did have a Board of Supervisors meeting this week. The topic was discussed about the new health orders, and I think at least 3 of the supervisors expressed interest in returning to in-person. And so I think now it's in the hands of administration. And in talking to different individuals, nothing official. However, I do believe that we'll see them going back within the next month or 2. So for our purposes, it could be our October meeting, because we were going to have a meeting in August and it was pushed to September. And so we do have a meeting next month. So that one we might be ready, but certainly I would imagine that for that following meeting, we would be back to in-person.
Thanks for the update.
A brief comment I'll add as well. I agreed with everything that was said, including with my colleague, Trustee Sullivan. You know, we also have a recent change from the state no longer requiring vaccination for school employees or other public employees. But I will say I am thrilled on a personal level to have gotten my bivalent booster yesterday. I would encourage everyone to do the same. We had a nice event at the school district office. I don't know how many people. I think when I was the first in line, I think they had 40 or 50 people signed up. I don't know what the final tally was, but that remains probably the single most useful mitigation, both on a personal level and therefore on a community level. So I really encourage everyone to do that. For the county and school districts have been quite different in this regard. School district boards, including ours, have been back in person, what, a year and a half? I mean, we have made these Prop 36 or AB, excuse me, 361. No, don't make it a prop. My mistake. Declarations, and we've used them basically to allow for emergency situations for a given trustee. I mean, I had to Zoom into one meeting, not because of COVID, but because of a horrible bout of sciatica. So, it's a useful tool to have, but I also really believe that seeing each other face to face is better in all ways, and really encourage us to get back there. But that said, I'll make the most. And there's also this kind of weird 30-day thing and different interpretations. Our understanding is that you have to do it in advance. The county and city's understanding from their lawyers, you can do it at the beginning of the meeting. But in order to make this meeting legal, we have to pass it right now. Otherwise, we all have to log off and go home. So I'll make a motion to approve, and unless there's any other discussion.
And I'll second.
Very good. Please call the roll. Ms. Mansara.
Thank you. President Horner,
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan,
Aye.
Mayor Constantine,
Aye.
and Councilmember McKay.
Aye.
I saw him nod and then he unmuted. Okay.
Yeah.
So that also passes unanimously. We'll move to item 3, a joint item regarding school security. Who's kicking us off there?
I think that we can go ahead and start with the city, if that's okay with you, President Horner. And we
Of
have
course.
Chief Palsgrove here that would like to share a few words with you.
Good morning. Let's see, the update from the police side of things is the patrol teams did site visits to become more familiarized with each school layout, to include doors and windows and the footprint. So when they're responding to a school, it's not the first time that they're arriving on scene. So we had all of our patrol teams do those site visits for all the schools. We continue with our run, hide, fight trainings at the schools and our active shooting trainers for our police officers. We purchased specialized equipment for each patrol vehicle and patrol officer, things like shields, ballistic helmets, vests, reaching tools so that they're able to open up windows or doors quickly, so they don't have to wait for a single unit with those supplies to arrive on scene. We've verified and continue to have access to our school camera systems in emergencies only, and that has an auditing system, and the school's aware of any time we access those cameras. We have our traffic team continuing to do traffic safety visits and enforcement at school sites in the morning and after school. We currently have our traffic sign out at Monterey Road because we have a broken lights on the crosswalk at Monterey and Central near Britain. And we also have our traffic teams paying extra attention to that area. We've also met with the school and are going to be participating on their safety committee for the school districts, and have a planning rubric in place for evaluating each school site. Overall, safety at the schools are doing well. Our SRO, school resource officer, has issued 3 citations for things like knives on campus or fighting. But overall, the school's doing a great job in intervening and preventing some of these things from happening and handling it at a school level with minimal SRO involvement, allowing the SRO to engage in positive police contacts through rallies, lunchtime interaction with students, sporting events, etc. However, we do have one SRO, so he is busy going from high school to high school and addressing things on lower levels. I think that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Chief Pelsgrove. Anything else to add from the city? Oh, Trustee Sullivan, please.
Thank you, President Horner. Good morning, Chief Pelsgrove.
Good morning.
Question for you. Yesterday morning, the board had an opportunity to host a coffee chat with the board event, and we had a great turnout, really good attendance. And there were a couple of issues that came up in terms of traffic and safety in front of Britton Middle School. So I have two questions related to that. One was, if we have a volunteer, an adult volunteer, who's willing to, I guess we currently have a volunteer who stands on the corner to kind of monitor safety of students using the crosswalk in front of the donut shop. And he just stands there and kind of monitors and tries not to intervene, because I guess there was an incident where he did intervene to try to slow traffic to let kids cross, or he felt that the speed of traffic was unsafe while children were trying to cross. And then I don't know the full details, but he had gotten spoken to and kind of gotten reprimanded that wasn't allowed to do that. So I'm wondering, do civilian volunteers have a right to try to intervene if they think there's an unsafe traffic situation to ensure safety of students using the crosswalk? You know, kind of, are there any sort of rules or guidelines surrounding that?
Let me look into that, and I will circle
Okay.
back with you later today.
Okay. And then related to that then is the sense that we're getting that is that parents want more visibility of law enforcement in that area especially during drop off, but even pickup too, because they feel like the speed of traffic is kind of getting out of hand in that area. And because there is not, there's just that lighted strip, and there isn't an official crossing guard there. Is there a way that we can try to put more enforcement in that area during those busy times for the school?
Yes, that I can commit to, and we'll find out a game plan yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trustee Sullivan. I think Member McKay is up next. And I guess you put your own hands down when we're done. Please, John.
Sorry, I'm playing whack-a-mole with my mute button. So Wendy, thank you for opening the door. I had a question about traffic around school sites, but I was gonna try to ask that later, but you opened the door, so thank you. I noticed that one of the high traffic areas is around Nordstrom School. Probably, as you know, along with Britton, are probably one of the highest impacted by ongoing public traffic. There was some redirection, I believe, of car drop-off cars and that whole situation. How is that working at this point? Or do we find that it really is effective as far as keeping, you know, the parents or whoever's dropping off the children and the rest of the community driving by?
I'll let the school district respond to how that's working for the schools. As far as a community traffic issue, I haven't heard of any complaints regarding traffic issues around Nordstrom School. Mario, Captain Ramirez is on the line as well. Are you aware of any traffic issues around Nordstrom School?
I am not. During our request for information regarding our flock cameras, we did get a request that we have put cameras undone because of the speeders. But other than that, we've not had any complaints regarding Nordstrom School. that we've received. Our traffic team are out there at least twice a week at the very minimum, but I usually hear them out there more than they usually. The way they hit it is Nordstrom, then they go up to Jackson, and then from Jackson they go over to Britain, based on the school schedule. So that's been their routine for the last since school began, almost every day.
Thank you, Captain. And I'll just add that the flock cameras, while they were asked to be put there because of speeders, they do not capture speeding or vehicle code violations other than stolen vehicles.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. That's promising because I do get a lot of comments about the activity in that area because it's very well known as being a high traffic area right at the time that school is the students are being dropped off for school. So I'll continue to monitor that. This sounds great so far. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'll reinforce that after this meeting as well with the team.
Thanks.
If I could add a follow on that particular topic, I wonder if we have considered, so often these places like Dunn and Monterey, these are very high traffic roads through town and also with drop off that faces a main street, at least for many students, whether they're walking or getting out of cars. Have we really looked at some other mitigations like arrays of bot dots and things like that you see in some places to give a physical warning to drivers when they're coming through, beyond the enforcement and lights and those kind of things? I mean, I don't want to suggest full on speed bumps because those are so disruptive, but I know there are many places just as a driver, or part of how you get a warning that there's a dangerous situation coming up, and maybe 3, 4, 5 rows of bot dots that when you go over, just kind of like, and kind of set to like, it's a minor irritant if you're going the speed limit, and it's really uncomfortable if you're going way over the limit. So is that something we've ever analyzed? I mean, they're relatively inexpensive, right? They glue down to the road. They're not some big costly thing. Is that something we've looked at, and is that a reasonable mitigation to further improve? I mean, the great fear is a lot of people drive badly and they're either distracted or going too fast, or they're on their phone, or trying to get their morning shave in on the way to work or whatever, and we don't want anybody getting hit. So have we, or can we look at some of those sort of mitigations that are not terribly expensive or disruptive?
I'll jump in. We
Yeah.
have looked at a few in different examples, like on Dunn Avenue. I mean, we can definitely look at it again. I think there are, MUTCD has like specific uses for things, so you can't just use, bot dots wherever you want. Like we do.
Sorry, MU2. Sarah, who? That acronym I'm not familiar with.
It's like the Municipal Uniform Traffic Device Code. So like there's rules on how you use all your traffic safety devices, right? So you can't just use them how you want, or else you put yourself in kind of jeopardy for using a traffic safety device in a way that's not, approved at the state or federal level.
So do they have a section specific to school zones?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask our city engineer. We have looked at that. The bot dots typically are to warn you of like a turn or a stop sign where people aren't doing that. You typically wouldn't do it on a straight road or warn of a school zone. Typically you see other things that warn you of that, especially since the school zone happens 2 times during the day, and that's why you'll see lights that come on, different things that happen during the school hours. But we can definitely look at it, and we can report back on that for sure. And since I'm talking, I'll jump in on the Britain issue. So just so everyone's aware, we had backup. Our contractor had backup lighting systems for there, and they basically got taken out like 2 weeks in a row. We do have a CIP project to put a traffic signal at that intersection, which will stop traffic completely. So that's in our CIP for this year. So we've actually almost finished the design on that, and we'll be putting that out to bid so that Britain intersection will be improved, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Well, that's great news. I concur with my colleagues. Thumbs up. Mayor Rich, please.
Of course, as soon as you call on me, I have to cough. Excuse me. I don't remember if we in this body discussed student crossing guards. I know when I was in elementary school in the Midwest, I was a crossing guard. And I was just wondering, has the school district looked at implementing student crossing guards at some of the busier schools?
And maybe we can give them a nice free fireman's helmet.
Well, I remember I had a nice, it was a orange sash that went around down the shoulder and around the waist.
So you've been a public servant in public safety since you were a child. That's pretty cool. Dr. Garcia, please.
So we didn't specifically talk about student crossing guards, but we did talk about adults helping with crossing guard duties. Yeah, so this has been an issue that we've been kicking around. And we just to refresh everyone's memories, we the reason why we brought it up was because the city of San Jose, or two schools that are in San Jose, they do provide. The city of San Jose provides the crossing guards. They employ them. Yeah. So, I mean, it's an idea that, I mean, we could pursue volunteers to assist with that, or, perhaps, in my monthly meetings with Christina and her team, we can bring this back and be creative with what we could do to continue to.
With adult volunteers, I know that sometimes, life gets in the way and they can't show up, and you don't want to have a situation where you don't have a guard that needs to be there that is not going to be there for whatever reason, but students are there all the time. They can assist in that. But again, that was just something, because like I said, when I was in school in the Midwest, that was something that was done there. So
yeah, I think the most ideal, Mayor Constantine, is to have direct hires. I mean, obviously, right? But we can certainly continue this conversation.
Trustee Sullivan, please.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in on using student crossing guards. I was one too in elementary school back in the day, but I think something like that could work if we were dealing with smaller streets with maybe lighter traffic. I would be hesitant to want to throw students out on Monterey or even Dunn, just because of the tendency to be higher speeds and heavier traffic. That would make me kind of nervous to put kids out there with those responsibilities. So just kind of my initial thought on to be aware of if we're going to go down, keep exploring the option of using students.
And
Excellent
if I
point.
could, President Horner, just
Please,
to follow up on
of
that,
course.
I've seen in San Jose, the busier streets, they don't even have the kids go out. They have long stop signs that they from the corner, they just put down. And once traffic slows down, then they go across. So I think that might address that. But those are, as Dr. Garcia said, those are all things we can always mull around later on.
So long stop signs on nice hardwood sticks.
But you don't want to make it too heavy because they're long and
that's
the
true.
leverage. So
That's true.
But
Okay.
if we can have adults and students, I think that's a perfect combination.
Maybe we can have our friends here in town that do carbon composites make us some nice carbon composite poles. Anything else on the school security and school safety topics from the district or the city side? Seeing-
Other than
Please.
I have to absolutely, I know I've said this before, but I have to laud our partners in the city of Morgan Hill, Chief Palsgrove and Captain Ramirez and City Manager Turner. You guys are phenomenal. I appreciate our monthly conversations and trying to stay ahead of the issues. And out of those monthly meetings, we also brainstormed an opportunity to reach out to San Jose PD and to the Sheriff's Department, because we do have schools within their divisions. And so we're trying to set up some quarterly meetings so that we can bring so we can strengthen and streamline that partnership between law enforcement and the school district, so we can continue to ensure that our schools are safe, et cetera. So kudos to City of Morgan Hill. Thank you for your partnership.
Right back at you.
Here. I make a motion to agree. One other quick question, Chief Palsgrove on the police department. Can you refresh my memory of what your total sworn officer count and total staff count is right now?
42. Police officers sworn, staff is 65.
Okay, I was at a conference not too long ago and heard from the Bakersfield City School District, which it's a 55,000 student district. So that's about 7 times our size. And I was surprised that they have their own police department at 26 sworn officers and 52 security guards, and then 10 administrators just for the schools. And that's like, well, that's a little different from 1 or 2 SROs. I'm glad we don't have need at that scale. I can't even. It's hard to get my head around. All right. Anything else on the city update then, Ms. Turner or others from the city?
Yeah, so I was just going to mention it under other updates, but I'll mention it now. And I just wanted to just briefly make some remarks about the Pg E outages, because I know that they affect the schools as well, and many Morgan Hill addresses as well. And so what I wanted to share is that we've been working with Pg E, and bottom line is they're going to be sending out a communication to our community about what happened and why, but more importantly, what they're doing to move forward, to update, improve, replace the infrastructure that's in Morgan Hill, just because we were hit harder than other agencies around us in Santa Clara County. And so we have their attention. Let's just say that literally the CEO called me to discuss, what we need to do, and they've committed to being present in our emergency operations center when needed. And working very closely with us, and we've requested records and all sorts of stuff from them. And so they're working with us. And so I just am hopeful that things will improve in the future. I'm hopeful that the temperature stays down over the next several weeks, so we don't have a repeat, of having these outages. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also on that topic, I'll say, we have to be looking strongly at various kind of battery backup systems for critical infrastructure in our facilities. Those systems are getting better all the time, fortunately. I mean, I think for our school district, our solar installations were back in 2011, and the battery backups at the time were not financially viable. They're getting there, and it looks like starting next year, there will be significant federal money for that for the first time isn't just targeted at individuals, but could potentially reduce the capital cost by 30%. But of course, none of the rules and regs have been issued yet, so we all don't know. But certainly something to think about. I think about in our schools. We have kitchens and refrigeration and things like that, and these outages. So I hope PG&E does better, but I have no confidence that over the next decade, we're not going to continue seeing things like this as there's more fires and more global warming, and we're all playing catch up. So one piece of that can be in the infrastructure we're all responsible for to continue improving our resiliency. Okay, anything else from or with the city in particular? Seeing and hearing none, I'll turn it to Dr. Garcia for the Morgan Hill Unified School District update. Oh. And of course, we have a nice presentation because that's how she rolls.
And of course, I'm muted. Our last meeting was in June, and so we have a lot to update the team on. And of course, there's a little bit of some action there, but school has been back in session for a few weeks. We welcomed back students, families, and teachers, as well as parents. And so here are a few pictures from our back to school week. Lots of happy faces, lots of I know the word normalcy is probably not accurate, so let's just say normal, but it absolutely is a return to normal, or as normal as it can. So super delighted to see happy, joyful student faces as well as adults on our campuses. We also had an incredibly busy summer. Let me give you a bit of a snapshot on summer school. We had summer school for 5 weeks. You see the dates there. We had a summer school program for kinder through 8th, as well as a 9th through 12th grade program. And we are actually just yesterday, I had a meeting with our new president from Gavilan College, and we talked about ways to really accelerate the partnership between our district and the college. But in the meantime, with these sort of like baby steps of strengthening that partnership, we were able to offer 2 high-step community college courses at Sobrato, and it was personal finance and intro to intro to psychology, just the beginning, before we gear up and have a full-blown partnership, because our students deserve that. We also have a renewed partnership with Silicon Valley Tech Academy, and it's a direct connection to San Jose State University. We had 80 students participate in these 80 students were primarily from the middle school. We also were able to hire our own students, our high school students, as lab assistants. And a couple of days ago, we had a meeting with the lead on the Silicon Valley Tech Academy, and we were talking about developing level 1, level 2, and level 3 courses. Because we like to be bold and creative and we want it all for our students, we would like to also formalize a partnership with San Jose State, where our students are able to take courses at San Jose State University, not for credit, but just to continue with the STEM, the science, technology, et cetera aspect. So a lot of good things to come for our students, and these partnerships are key. We also had a freshman connection. This is our second year of providing a symbolic bridge of sorts for our rising 9th graders. And this is the brainchild of our assistant superintendent, Pilar Vasquez Villalba. This is our second year doing this for our students. We also had a short but mighty and sweet and powerful and inspirational and motivational summer graduation. You see happy faces, and my gosh, the parents and the students' family members, you could tell they were beaming with pride. You know that it's not too late to walk across that finish line, and we're going to continue to make sure that kids graduate in June, but if not, we'll make sure that we can hold their hands so that we can help them walk across that graduation stage, even if it's in the summer. We also are enhancing our student opportunities and supports. We have expanded our transitional kindergarten program. We launched that successfully. We also have added enrichment for grades TK through 5 and arts, music, PE, among others. And by doing that, we were able to provide some very needed collaboration and planning time for our elementary teachers. They've never had that during the day. And we're delighted to be able to offer that. So 45 minutes a day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, including Wednesdays that are short days for our teachers. That's more collaboration time. But the 45 minutes daily allow us to provide some guarded and protected time for our teachers so that they can continue to work on curriculum alignment, et cetera. For our middle school, we were able to embed a homeroom added to a period. We added 20 minutes to that homeroom period, and the teachers are able to embed social emotional learning during that period. It's not the ideal schedule. We want to be even more bold with our middle school schedule, and so we'll be able to work with our friends at MHFT, our teachers union, so that we can continue to be creative with a much more ambitious middle school schedule so that it can provide more opportunities for our students. For our high school, though, as last year, as I met with our students, a lot of what they were saying to me last year, and even when we had a listening circle and we had board members sit in on that, as well as other key management from our district, our students are sharing. I think their voice is incredibly important, so much so that one of our strategic goals is around student engagement. And so what students were telling me and others was that they wanted more electives, more AP courses, more similarly advanced courses. They want to be able to make up courses while they're at their comprehensive high school before we, send them off to the continuation school. And that's another conversation that will take a long time to even unravel. But adding another period. So traditionally our school has had a 6-period day schedule. So our students now have 7 periods. And if I can go back to my conversation with the partnership with Gavilan College, that extra period can also be a college class if needed. What the extra period has done for our teachers at the high school is they now have 2 prep periods every day, whereas last year they had a prep period every other day. So a lot of planning time, very strategic and key planning time for our teachers to continue to look at how kids are doing and aligning curriculum and working on assessments. And so this leads me to really our school reform efforts, it's around curriculum alignment. And this is what we did our first day back and our second day back. Teachers First, by site, they worked on identifying essential standards that we are guaranteeing to our families that our students will learn. And the second day, we had curriculum alignment via the essential standard identification with grade level specific across the district. So all kinder teachers in our district working together, all first grade, so on and so forth. And we are also continuing, this is year 2 of our work with Dr. Cruz. He is a transformational leader, and he worked with our guiding coalitions. We have about, this year we have over 100 teachers and administrators in our guiding coalition. And if I were to compare our total number of teachers, we have about 450 teachers, and more than 100 are part of their leaders. It's important to harness and elevate teacher voice as well. And so we're continuing our work with Dr. Cruz on empowering our teachers so that we can do the heavy lift around the curriculum alignment and the assessment development, et cetera. We're also neck deep in back to school nights. We had one at Nordstrom earlier in the week, and we have one today at Murphy. I look forward to attending that tonight. I'm continuing my coffee chats. You'll recall that I am very, very visible in our community because it's important to listen to what our parents and community members are thinking. It's very open-ended. There's absolutely no agenda. I just want to hear from them. Also happy to report that we had our first board member chat, and this is the brainchild of Trustee Sullivan. And this is our second year doing this. These will also be held on a monthly basis and will ping pong around South San Jose, all around Morgan Hill, including San Martin. And so it's the same premise, no agenda, just listening to our parents and our community members, because it absolutely takes a village. I know it sounds super corny, but it's accurate. It takes a village to wrap our arms around our more than 8,100 students. We're also incredibly happy to announce that we will be launching our Family and Community Engagement Center. It will be located, very centrally located in Britain. More to come on that. We are also, my gosh, expanding our before and after school program. We're calling it Amplify. We surveyed our community, our parents, and we know that this is the tip of the iceberg, and we have at least 1,200 students interested in a before and after school program. And for those that qualify, for the families that qualify for free or reduced lunch, that before and after school care, it will be as early as 6:30 and as late as 6 p.m. every day. That experience will be free. For those that do not qualify for free or reduced lunch, families in the past have paid between $500 and $580. And so our goal is to bring that cost down, and the cost will be between $150 and $200 per student. The final price will be determined, and we've reached out to about 10 partners, educational partners, 10 vendors, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, et cetera, to get some quotes. And we're finalizing those as we speak. And including, we're not just providing these before and after school options at the schools, we're also going to the community. Similarly, when I have my coffee chats, I go to coffee, shops around town, but I also go to our parents. If parents can't come to me, I go to them. And so I've been holding some living room chats in apartment buildings throughout Morgan Hill. And so these residential community centers, as I have these chats with parents, many of our parents don't want the students to stay at school, until 6. They want us to be able to replicate some of these before and after school care opportunities at the apartment buildings. And we're happy to report that we're going to be able to do that. Cochrane Village, Jasmine Square, Park Place. We're going to be fully supporting that El Toro Center, that Boys and Girls Club Center that's right across the street from Walsh. And you see the hours there. We also recently, our board passed a school safety resolution. And as it was briefly discussed by Chief Palsgrove, we did work with Captain Ramirez on that resolution, so that we could gain the police perspective on ways to strengthen and streamline our school safety. And so we do have a safety task force that will be coming out of it. We'll be identifying areas of safety to prioritize and investigate. We'll be able to determine short and long-term goals. And we'll also obviously look at ways to continue to streamline and to strengthen and wraparound services to prevent bullying, harassment, discrimination, and violence, among others. And we're hiring. Please help us spread the word. We are hiring. We're looking for substitute teachers. We're looking for an art teacher. We're looking for PE, etc. So please help us spread the word. We have a hiring fair coming up, and it's today from 12:30 to 3:30. That's it. We haven't been doing anything. We haven't been busy at all. We haven't been busy at all. But I'll entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions or comments? I don't see any hands or moving lips. I'll certainly say thank you for all that. And we had a trustee Sullivan and I were guest speakers at Kiwanis recently. Kind of ended up being another version of a board member chat. One of the things we heard from some of our Key Club students there, high school students, was some frustration around availability of classes for their period 3. And I'm just wondering, you mentioned the Gavilan option. I'm wondering how that works for students right now and how they become aware. Is that in person? Can they register for online classes? Can they use their 7th period to like do an online Gavilan class? Or there was a specific, I mean, one student brought up trying to get into AP Psych and it was full, and she's a senior and it was frustrated by not being able to get that. So I saw Intro to Psych was offered over the summer. So I'm just wondering how are students, what is available in terms of these non-traditional options, be they Gavilan or San Jose State, and then how do they find out about them and sign up for them? Is there anything you can help me understand on that, Dr. Garcia?
No, yeah, absolutely. You know, with the high step, as I was describing earlier, it's been what we have been doing. I looked at some data points back to 2018, and the participation has been minimal because these classes are after school, and those don't require a specific MOU or a specific agreement between Gavilan's board and our board. It's just courses that are offered, and it's not just for our students; they're also offered for adults in our community, and so so it's been sort of just word of mouth, you know, counselors share with students. And we haven't, and this is a conversation I had with our president yesterday, the president of the college and his team, that we need something much more bold and much more robust. I think for a district our size, I can easily envision between 200 and 500 students taking advantage of this. But in order to do the courses during the day, that would require an MOU, and it would require a formal CCAP agreement, if you remember from our special study session around these partnerships. And so I, as you know, I'm quite passionate about this. I'm quite passionate about, you know, being bold for our students. And so we're playing within the system that we currently have, which is the high step courses. But our ultimate goal is to continue to survey our students, get their input on what they want. And with that information, then we work with Gavilan College and we can select those courses that are aligned to what our kids want. And then we work on, they work on hiring the faculty for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. There's another piece I think that's, to me, seems like low-hanging fruit. But even before the pandemic, and certainly through the pandemic, community colleges went all in on online education, and many of those classes are asynchronous rather than having to, you know, be on Zoom or whatever. Not the ideal way to learn, but it is certainly a viable path. And I'm wondering if there's something we can make sure our students know that they have access to, whether, you know, during a 7th period or what. I mean, obviously the advantage of an asynchronous class is you can do it any time. It's not at a time certain, and it could be a way for students that are really committed to filling in some piece they want to have before college, be it intro to psychology or you know, another, or, you know, or a language we're not able to offer or something. You know, maybe there's something in between what we're doing now and the full program you're talking about, Dr. Garcia, that that could be another resource for our students that's already sitting there.
So yes, and that's basically what's currently being offered. It's an online class, and what the students are telling us is they don't like it. You know, they don't like the online platform. They would prefer for it to be in person. And so I think we have to, I think we need to perhaps do a hybrid, you know, President Horner, where it's maybe some of them are online and it's synchronous, and then there's some asynchrony attached to it. But right now, what the students are telling us is they're not interested in an online course.
Yeah, I understand. Trustee Sullivan, please.
I just wanted to add that, with the high step courses, I think in terms of timing, sometimes they were a little bit prohibitive because yes, the courses require anywhere from 2 to 3 hours after school every day in order to kind of get through the entire course. But I did feel like the high schools did try to bring courses to the high school campuses that were interesting for students. We've had courses in criminal justice, early childhood development, communication. So they've tried to bring a variety of courses when offered. And the plus side of them, for those that were able to take advantage of it, is that you're getting a college level course free of charge. There was no fee, and the materials like books and so forth were also provided free of charge. So then our high school students who were able to take advantage of this program could take a college level course for credit free of charge, on their own high school campus. But again, given that they could, they had the time after school to be able to complete a course, like that was being offered. So I just wanted to, offer some additional context around that kind of high step program that we've been trying to offer.
And I think it could be a both and. It's absolutely offering those really cool and attractive and I would say, sexy courses for our students. But I think there has to be a strategic and measured approach where these courses can also lead. They could be the AA courses or AA courses that students would eventually take it at a 4-year. So I think there could be a balance of the fun courses and also the academic courses that can give them a leg up.
Absolutely.
College, yeah.
Very good. Thank you both. Anything else on the school update or any other questions regarding these topics? I think you have the power of your own hand there, Trustee Sullivan. Okay, then we are moving to any other reports or updates? All right, seeing a lot of heads nodding no, let the record reflect there weren't any. Then any topics for future meetings? Seeing none there as well at 9:20. Thank us all for participating and for our efficiency, the breadth and depth of the conversation, and we've also completed it in under an hour. So bravo team. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting and have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Thank you,
Bye.
John.
Have a good
Thank you,
day.
everyone. Bye now.